Pokemon TCG. We all love it, we all collecting it, or you either scalping it, one or the other. Well, I'm here to explain today how the Pokemon market is just being destroyed, but yet is still recovering quickly, which is a good thing. But still, it has been destroyed for so long. The time span of it being destroyed has been like 2 years maybe. So I'm here to explain why. First up, we have scalpers. Now, if you don't know what a scalper is, you'll most likely figure that out if you're in the United States. A scalper is a unemployed, ignorant, and rude person who goes to shops, buys all the supplies of Pokemon, I mean everything. Pokemon pin boxes, booster boxes, ETBs, every single thing. Not everything until there's nothing left. And then they'll go online to eBay, I don't know, Amazon, and let's say they have a $6 pack, boom, $15 there. $100 ETB, $300. $400 booster box, nah. Why don't we up that to $600? So they just destroy the market. And there's been many instances of this happening. Like here, I've put a photo up on screen. That's just a photo of your average scalper. And well, the Pokemon community has been trying to fight them for so long, it just doesn't work. Nothing works to stop scalpers, because there's so many of them in such a high population. So basically, Pokemon has put in many rules against scalping. Stores have put Pokemon behind benches, so you physically have to go up to an employee and ask, can I get that box, can I get that pack? Which is just garbage. Why should I have to ask to buy a pack physically when I could go to the shelf and pick one up and go buy one? Now, they haven't done many things, sitting them behind shelves, like I've just said, adding purchase limits, so you know, whenever I go to buy Pokemon, I went there to buy a Elite Trainer box of Perfect Order. Here's my past 2 videos of me opening that if you want to go watch it. I was limited to 1, which I'm fine with, because they're $100 each. I wasn't planning to get 2 anyways, although I had pre-ordered 1. And, well, it's just annoying how they've had to add a supply limit due to these people constantly coming in, clearing out shelves and reselling them. Scalpers have been a huge problem in the Pokemon community, so much so that, like, people have to wait in line at midnight. If the shop opens at, like, 10, you have to be there at, like, 4 a.m. to beat the line, because people will line up to run in and just take all the stock. However, luckily, with the new Perfect Order Pokemon set, no one wants it really, so I highly recommend getting packs now while you have the chance. But it's just not good how a family-friendly TCG game has been destroyed because these unemployed people just don't want to see kids having fun. Or anyone in general. It's so bad that you have to go to card shops like Good Games, for example, and literally just buy the cards there. And it's just so bad that the Pokemon community has taken such a huge hit. It's not even the community who has been physically and mentally hurt. Well, not physically as much, but, you know, mentally. But also the market. The market has crashed multiple times. Prices have gone up, you know, like, originally, I think a Elite Trainer box was like $100 when it came out. They're now at like $150 market value, which is insane. All because of medium supply, but very high demand, especially with scalpers. Now in the Pokemon community, scalpers only make up maybe like 5%, not even like 2%. But still, 2% out of, let's say, a fan base that has, you know, 50 million members. Correction, there's 100 million people in Pokemon TCG, 300,000 is 0.3%. So they just destroy everything. They just destroy our whole market. Secondly, moving on from that, we have how Pokemon tries to print stuff, but they can't get enough printing. This one also links to scalpers. So I have a little graph here. I've printed it. I got off their website if you want to go check it out. Britannica. Just had to say that so they know. Anyways, this one's more of a scientific one. I'll get a different one up. But as you can see, imagine this is price, demand, and supply. Now, when the first set comes out, supply will be very high, demand will be very high, and yet again, price will be low, or to around about the medium parts. However, as the set continues on, the price will go up, supply goes down, demand goes up. And I'm telling you now, that demand goes up because mainly of scalpers. They just go and clear everything out, and that's what makes the demand get really high. Because to get a pack or anything without a scalper beating you to it is quite rare, especially in the States, the US. So as the set goes on, supply will go down then up, because the Pokemon community, they print hundreds of thousands to millions of packs a day, I'd imagine. And yet again, they're all just sold out super quick. Here, I'll give you guys a bit less of a scientific one. As you can see here, supplies, demand, these are originally prices. Prices start off like that, you know, they move up a bit as the set continues on. Then it reaches above like 20 bucks. Shout out to whoever made this. There was nothing on it, but yeah, shout out to whoever made this. This is very useful. But yeah, this one just kind of shows a bit more simpler for any younger viewers on how they're just destroying the market, especially scalpers. And you know, the Pokemon community, they try their best to try and print enough for everyone, but at the end of the day, it just gets so bad that people just can't get their hands on anything. And finally, moving on from that, we have market manipulation. If you don't know what that is, I'll explain it to you. So market manipulation, basically when you go to buy a card, you buy all of them, you damage a ton of them, boom, that card's now worth a ton more than what it originally was. $2 card, boom, $5,000 card, because you've destroyed them all. So recently, well, not that recently from this point in time when I'm filming this, but there has been a guy on the internet, Twitter, TikTok, or something like that, KabutoKing, here he is right here. He has set off on a side quest to collect every first edition Kabuto there is. And originally, a first edition Kabuto is a non-holo. So it was worth about $3 to $5, maybe $10 originally. However, since KabutoKing has collected, I think, a couple thousand years, prices have shot up to like $80 to $90 per card now. And KabutoKing's intentions isn't to, you know, collect them all like the anime tells you to. He's going to burn all of them, destroy them, and keep one left. Holy voice crack. He's going to keep one left. That card, if it grades a 10 from PSA, Beckett, whatever grading service you use, PCG, shout out to you for getting my boy 9.5 and my Pikachu a 9. Basically, if that gets a PSA 10, that card is a one-of-one copy out of print, out of circulation. Now, most likely he won't succeed because there'll be some people who won't sell him the card, no matter how much he offers, you know. Might be some very, you know, good person who would rather save the market a little bit than sell his card to a guy for, I don't know, $400. So if it were to grade a 10, that card is now probably over $1 million because it's a one-of-one. It'd be highly sought after, people would want it, and also KabutoKing would go down in Pokemon history as a guy who's made this one worthless card that no one cared about a year ago into this highly sought after like piece of art that no one has. So basically, he is manipulating the market by saying and doing that he's going to destroy all these, leave one left, make it worth really valuable, worth really a lot of money. But here's the thing, other collectors could go and think alike him and say, I'm gonna do this too, because you know, two great minds think alike, as they say. They might do the same, well, maybe not with Kabuto, maybe with, like, I don't know, a seal, a horsey, you know, Kabuto, oh no, not Kabuto, Scyther, you know, all the unhollows from Jungle and that, or any card in general that's out of print, they could go destroy all of that and then make it worth a ton of money. And that fully is when the market has fully been manipulated. So this is a huge problem for Pokemon collectors, because, you know, if anyone wanted to master set a old out of print set, which isn't really the best idea in general, they now have to pay more money for a specific card than what they could have paid. Oh my god, why am I getting voice cracks? I'm not a kid anymore. Jeez. Anyways, as they do this, it just fully destroys the market. Manipulating the market is just a huge problem in itself, but when one person does it, then another, it just connects a chain that goes all the way around and comes back. So, you know, we might start off as 1, and if he keeps going, soon we might have 100, then 1,000, then 10,000, and then so on. So, the Pokemon market has taken huge hits recently. However, I've got good news for us. The Pokemon market is incredibly strong, very strong, as it's not backed by the government, unlike money. When you look at money, it's backed by the government, people trust it, because it's a government funding. It was made by the government, it's produced by the government. However, Pokemon is fully from supply and demand. That's why Pokemon cards are good. However, not good when people damage them and do whatever KabutoKing is doing. But the Pokemon market is very quick at healing itself. As more cards come into print, more sets, more expensive chases come into circulation, the market might go from crashing to coming back up again, maybe down a bit more, up. It only takes a few months to maybe a year to fully repair itself. This is why the Pokemon market has succeeded for over 20 years, 30 years now. It's the 30th anniversary. If you couldn't tell by my first opening on the video, I opened one of these. Probably should have saved that opening for later on the channel, because, well, it was a really garbage video, I will say. But, yet again, the Pokemon community is very quick at healing. Like, imagine it as, you know, the stock market, but better. Stock market, it crashes, it's down, you've lost everything. Pokemon market, you know, it might crash for a bit, and then it might shoot back up, like this guy back here. Charizard, I love you. That one crashed down to around about $950 from $1,500. And over time, it has healed from $950 around back up to $1,000, which is still huge, because that car is quite rare, especially in that grade. And yet, this one hasn't faced any repercussions and has only gained value, which proves that although the Pokemon market might go down a bit, cards should never lose their value. Never. Because they're rare. They're, you know, only so many people have them. So the Pokemon market is heavily supported by a huge fan base, constant, like, you know, additions, new stuff. And also, it's just supported by pure supply, demands, all of that. So this card should never, any of your cards, you guys watching at home, your cards will never lose value unless you physically do something to that card and make it wish it was never a part of your collection. I hope you don't do that. But cards will never lose their value when they're in a perfect condition. If you look at first edition Charizards, although a few more might grade a 10, eventually no more first edition Charizards will be left to be opened, because there's only so many first edition booster packs. Same as with these. You can only get them from the 25th premium boxes, there's not many of those left now. Well, there's quite a few, but not as many. Which makes it so even if they grade high, the market might go down, but as time goes on, these cards get older, they're just going to go up. Like back in the day, if your first edition Charizard got a 9 or a 10, it would have been maybe a couple $100 to a couple thousand. I don't know, I haven't studied original Charizard. I don't even know if grading existed back then. Probably did. I know Beckett is quite a original grading service. But as time went on, and the first edition Charizard became more sought after, that was its key. The grade. That is... oh my god. If I get one more voice crack, I'm ending this video. That was its key. The slab, or the grade. Because it was a 10 and perfect condition, as time went on and the market changed and Pokemon grew bigger and bigger, people started thinking, oh wait, this card is super rare and valuable. Not many people have it. That's why it got pushed from maybe a couple thousand to 1.2 million or something. Oh no. Yeah, a couple million to 100,000. 500,000, I think it is. Or the Pikachu Illustrator, originally $5 million, not even 5 years ago. When Logan Paul bought it, it recently sold at auction for $16 million US. For any of my Australian viewers, that is 22 million, which is insane. That a card went from around about 8 million Australian to 22 million within the span of 5 years. So due to this, the Pokemon market may be facing significant pushbacks, like supply, scalpers, and anything in general. It is still a quick-paced, quick repair community. Well, guys, I'll probably be posting a follow-up on this video at some point. I promised if I got another voice crack, I'm ending this video, and what happened? But yeah, I'll be posting a follow-up. I'll give you guys more information when I can retrieve some.